Hello, everyone. Before we start, could you just tell us if you can hear us and see us well? You can say that in the chat section at the right. Yes. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Deepan. Hi, Lena, Franco. Wow, okay. Many people. Okay, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this webinar on UI design, organized by Brussels team. We are very happy to have you tonight. So I'm going to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Camille. I'm Global Marketing Coordinator at Le Wagon in Paris. And fortunately, I am not alone today. So I'm here with an amazing team that will run this webinar tonight. We are not from the same city. I'm in Paris, some are in London, some are in Brussels. And I'm sure it's the same for you as it's a worldwide webinar. So could you just tell us from which country you are from so that we know? From Valencia, Lima, nice. Estonia, UK, wow, Mexico. Wow, it's a nice trip today, nice. We're traveling, that's great. Okay, that's really nice to see. Okay, before from Toronto, Montreal, too many places. Before we start, I'm going to introduce really quickly Le Wagon for those who don't know us. So we are a coding school founded more than 6 years ago in Paris. Today we are present in 39 campuses all over the world. And we have trained more than 7,500 people to web development with boot camps. And after the boot camps, these alumni has almost all of them changed their life. So either they have launched their startup or they became freelancers or changed their career. So basically we offer a 9-week bootcamp to learn web development. In some campuses, it's also available in part-time in 25 weeks. And we also recently launched a data science bootcamp. So now that you know a bit more about Le Wagon, it will be great, I think, that you know a bit more about our team today and what are their background and where they are coming from. So who wants to start? Maybe Tariq, as you will be the lead teacher today?
Yeah. Everyone, well, I'm impressed that there are so many people with us tonight. So I'm going to be a teacher tonight, and my name is Tariq, as Camille mentioned it. I did Le Wagon almost 2 years ago. My batch was batch 185, and at the time there were less than 5,000 but it's growing so fast. It's quite impressive. So before doing Le Wagon, I was studying. So I did a master in business engineering here in Brussels. And then I needed to understand how technology works and what is actually feasible with it and do it on my own, myself, build it with my own fingers, let's say. And I decided to attend Le Wagon. And after that, I launched my project that is now aiming at helping sales leaders make sense of the conversation intelligence they have while interacting with customers over the phone. Voilà.
Nice. Who wants to go on? Sarah, maybe?
Hi everyone, nice to see so many people on the webinar. It's going to be a brilliant webinar by Tariq. I'm Sarah, so I did the batch in January actually with Rahul in London. And then since then I know that the world has sort of changed. Yeah, so I am now a TA for Le Wagon for the time being. I'm also learning Python on the side, which is very fun. And yeah, that's me for now. Who's next?
Adela, Raul, who wants to go?
Sorry, my microphone was just like getting on. So my name is Adela, and I did the Wagon 2 years ago, from February to April in Brussels before we actually moved into the new office, which is together with Google at the moment. Before that, I studied communication and research and did my bachelor in finance, so nothing whatsoever with web design. But most of my friends were in IT and they are traveling around the world. So I said, okay, I need to learn that as well and be able to have more freedom in my life. Although now I'm actually working for Accenture in technology, intelligent engineering services and enterprise transformation. And I take different roles, sometimes in UX design, UI, or working in making software and websites and so on, applications. So yeah, it shift a lot my life, Le Wagon. It's a huge challenge actually, but it's all worth it. That's me.
Nice, great. Raul, you're the last one.
Yes, last but not least. So as I mentioned, I was in the Wagon London batch, 361. Finished the web development course in March, and since then I've been freelancing a little bit and also helping to create the next generation of developers by teaching the following batches, all remotely now, but hopefully back to the secret sauce of Wagon in person. My past is a big mix. Used to do strategy consulting for several years, and then I left my job to start a festival, which I did for a couple of years, which is fantastic. And I hope once COVID is over, I'll be able to do again. But right now I'm just beginning my journey as a developer. I love front end, and I'm hoping to share a little bit of that passion with you today.
Very nice. That's nice to hear. So as you can see, they have really different backgrounds, and I think it's a bit the same every time in every bootcamp at Le Wagon. It's a big melting pot with many people from different cities and different. Pretty nice. Okay, so now I think that you know us. I'm just going to give you the rules of this webinar. So it's quite simple. So as you have understand, Tarek will be the lead teacher tonight, and Sarah, Raul, and Adela will answer your questions. Of course, you can ask all your questions you have, but for this, please do this in the question section, not in the chat one. So it just basically next to chat, you have written questions, and it's there. And it's where the teacher assistants will be able to answer you. For those of you who have already attended the webinar with us, today it will be a bit different at the end. We won't go on our academic platform, which is called Learn, but you will receive the link of the slides of the webinar at the end. So don't worry, no need to take notes. Just enjoy the webinar, listen carefully, and ask your questions in the question section. So it's quite simple. Yeah, and also you will receive the replay link at the end of the webinar, so just right after, and you will also receive the slide, as I said. The lecture will last approximately for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I think it's all I had to tell you. So enjoy your webinar, and Tarek, the stage is yours. We'll go.
Thank you everyone. All right, so where do we start? I'll share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about rather than seeing me. And welcome everyone to this UI and design crash course. So tonight is a very special workshop because it's not literally about how to code anything, but rather what is of someone design the UI of its website. Okay, so it's mainly a workshop of design for non-designers. Okay, and the thing is that, think of it like this. Recently, I had to build my own website, and I needed to have a logo. And most people, when they need to have a logo, they need to hire a designer to do the job. And that can be very quickly expensive. and there mustn't be any reason for it to be that way. Building your own graphical identity, that's what this workshop is for, to help you do that without having to hire anyone. Indeed. So what is the journey? Usually when you will want to do that, you'll go online and you'll start Googling. I need a design service. I need to find a way to inspire myself. And you'll find a lot of these design services. And it is growing daily by hundreds, because it's really good. It's actually a good business. For most people, it seems completely unfeasible to do such a task. So you quickly get lost, actually. All right. And if we go on a website called Product Hunt, so let's do it together now. If I type Product Hunt here, and you'll see that what happens on Product Hunt is you have all the projects that are super trendy. So it's a platform that just tells you what kind of project is really trendy for the moment and what they do. All right. The way you identify each of these projects is through their logos. You see here, they are showcased with the logos, and they have animations that moves, and that actually quickly gives you an idea of what kind of projects they're working on, how the identity is really, really important to convey properly through such an information, because people need to grasp what you do visually and quite quickly to help them, to actually incentivize them to click on the like button. All right. So that's what you can see on Product Hunt. And if you go a bit deeper here, you can actually have a lot of new design, a lot of new design products. All right. The best UI and UX product practices for production-ready design, the essential guide to product design and design thinking. And all these tools actually can potentially help you build the design you want once you figure this out properly. All right. So, but tonight what we want to talk about is, how do I design? And to do this, there's a roadmap. Okay. You first start by looking for inspiration online. You gather your thoughts and you just describe properly the value proposition you have. Then you look at a match between your identity and the identity of the project. And once that is done and put on the paper, you're ready to go and look for inspirations online. All right. Once that is done, the second step would be to find the assets. Finding the assets is, what are the pictures that are going to convey the message I want? Where am I going to find the logo? How am I going to design it? All right. And throughout the whole experience of your website, or even if it's only a landing page, even on the landing page, you need to have a lot of consistency. The story you tell has to be consistent and with your own identity. So it's quite an exercise. Saying it this way might seem a bit easy, but it takes quite some time. And when you have all your assets, we'll start of the rules of thumb of your design. Okay, we'll see throughout this workshop what that means, but most of the time it will be about defining the color scheme of your website, defining the spacing, the font you will be using, the spacing, the sizes of your boxes. All right, it's all things you have to do. Once you have designed, once you have this rule of thumb, these rules of thumb, the last step will be to demo your website. To demo in it would be to design it without having to code anything. All right, and you do this using a tool called Figma, and we'll see it at the end of the workshop. And it really eases a lot your conception of your website, the design of your website. You put it on the paper, and then once you see that it all works fine, then you start coding it. All right, so that is for the roadmap of a designer. Let's have a look at the steps one by one. All right, the first one was about inspiration. No one is born a designer. Okay, nothing comes from nowhere, at least most of the time. We just look for inspirations. So you look for something here, something there, and you make them having love, and then they just pop out a new idea. All right, that's what inspiration is about. What are you looking for? You're looking for inspirations. All right, what kind of components you will be using on your website. When I talk about components, I mainly talk about, do I need to have cards? We'll see in a minute what that means. But do I need to have buttons? Or what is the form? If you have people that need to give their emails, I need a form, right? A form is also a component. And then what do I want this form to look like? Okay, one of the good places for every designers on earth to look for inspiration is most probably Dribbble. So we'll do it together now. And let's type it here, Dribbble, and you can easily recognize it with this pink basketball. And it's actually a kind of a marketplace, Dribbble. You go on Dribbble, and then you see the finest designers showcasing their work, and they do it quite well. All right, so for instance, if I come here and I click on this one, I will see that Pure Web UI has a couple of designs developed. All right, and then they can even have, you see that they have a description of the design, and then on the right side you see here that they tell you what is their color scheme. Okay, and with the color scheme comes the hex code. What is a hex code? Is a way to uniquely identify a specific color for the computer. Okay, so it's a code you provide the computer to with, so that it exactly finds that color. All right, this is not orange. It has a name that I do not know actually, but it also has a code that I know, and that is dash E9632B. All right, so that's the hex code of that color. So that's what you look for projects. All right, for designers' work, and here what you do is that you say, all right, now maybe I want to see the top designers' work, because it's something that that can actually help. And you see that this one develops actually amazing amazing logos. This one is mostly about, well, you quickly recognize that they all have a very unique identity. Huh? All their projects, all their pages have the same look and feel. All right. And let's say now that I'm actually interested into developing a phone, a web app, but that would be mobile friendly. And this design here has an amazing idea. It's clean. She showcases the logo of a company and then a couple of images. We see that here she has 2 main boxes, and then within each of these boxes, she has an image and then a little title for the image, a little word, all right? And after this, you have a couple of, it looks like profiles, viewers. That could be nice. And here, if you want to build a landing page, well, that's what you would like a user to see, right? It's super clean. There's not much information. A big title, all right, and then an action button and an illustration that tells on its own what all this is about, all right? And then you have the buy now button, which is also really important. I kind of like the color schemes she has used, so I can quickly go through the colors she's using here and maybe save it and use it a bit later, all right? The all right, are exposing their work in it, so it can help you get inspired. Of course, if you want to do something like this, it will quickly get very complex, but it's really, really, really nice. So once you handle designing, that's what you can actually go to and start doing. All right. So here, what we will do on Dribbble is look for a wagon or a van. All right, a sign up form, an icon set, and then a free food icon set. Let's go and look for sign up form. All right, so here, if we go back, and if I do sign up and then form, all right, and I click, and you have a list of, you see here, you have plenty of sign up forms, all right, pages that include sign up forms. One that can be really actually, that's I think I have an account and I should be logged in, but I'll sign up with my Google account very quick. And here now, you see that you can click on the preview of that image, and then you see you have an idea of what a sign up form looks like, a beautiful one. She has decided to have a beautiful illustration on the left, and then here it's not too much. It's well put together. It takes the right amount of space on the page, and the colors are quite unified. Nothing is shocking, but I just want to do one thing. Basically, is to click on this create account button. All right, but before that, I need to fill all these information, and that's what design is about. You need to push people to invite on the website. That was for the sign up form, and now we can do and go look for an icon set. Okay, so icons. And here, if I go and you can have a look at all the shots, basically. And then you see all these people here have, I just logged in. All these people here have a set of icons to use here and that are pretty good. Because see here for meditation and stories and create, it's animated and it's actually a nice example of it. All right, perfect. So that's how you can go and look for inspiration on Dribbble, okay? But when it comes to UI, because on Dribbble you have really high-end designs and inspiration you can try to tend to, but it's going to take you forever. What you can do is go on a website called Call to ID. So we just look and you see that Call to idea, light up your imagination. It says it all right? And here you have plenty of examples you can look at, okay? A couple of seconds, we were looking for a form in order to log in. So I am going to choose login here. And then you have images of forms that can help you. This one is kind of super modern, all right, while catching eyes. It's a nice one. Otherwise, you have quite regular ones, okay? That's something you can see on any website and that the users are going to be quickly familiar with. That's for the forms. And if you go on the left, you see that you actually have plenty of things you can use. And you even have one that specifies that can help you get inspired when it comes to the layout, okay? And that's something when I want to start designing, I struggle with the most, okay? The layout of my site. And when we talk about layout, you mean, all right, at the top of the page here, okay, and it's good that we see here a quick message that says what the product I'm offering is about, and an image that just showcase it quickly. It's good. Right below that, you see here they have decided to quickly describe their value proposition. And below this, here I have a nice image just that says I can use it on my phone, and quick description of the features and how my life is going to be actually a lot easier. I see that I can easily integrate it with other tools. And yeah, that's kind of good. And right above the footer here, they have a call to action, which is really grabbing the attention because all this blue has a huge contrast with the rest of the page. It's actually a really good idea, and maybe that can really help when we want to start building a landing page. And that's pretty much it. When you want to, this one is good also. Yeah, you have globally you have an idea of the colors they use, which is nice. I like this way of introducing the features, and images are always helping. And whenever you can put a number, of course, it depends, of course, on the industry you're working in, but numbers can be, when it comes to B2B, really helpful. And this designer has found a way to actually make it a lot descriptive with all these images. It's a really nice idea. Okay, cool, amazing. So that's idea. Okay, they really have plenty of cases you can look at when it comes to building a dashboard, a team, statistics, popovers even. So that's for this one. Let's have a look at UI movement. UI movement. Again, the slogan is the best UI inspiration, and it works quite the same way. Okay, you have here all the designs, and then here you can, rather than filter by kind of pages or kind of components you need, here it's more about agency side, for instance. Build an agency, well, you can find inspiration here. That's kind of really sophisticated. But let's say that I need to build a website where my user can listen to audios. All right, a music player can kind of help me see how I can make it user-friendly to display the sound. And that's really beautiful, but I kind of guess it's going to take me forever to do it. I need to look for something a bit simpler, but that still remains beautiful. Yeah, and this one seems all right. That doesn't look like too much, you see. So basically what she does is that she clicks here, and then you have this kind of Spotify-like bar where the user can, yeah, and it's a nice idea. Basically, you have video that can, while the user navigates in other places of the website, and can actually, because that's what happens here, you can scroll through the titles and still have the player visible to the user. It's a really nice nice way to make it live for the visitors. So yeah, so UI, all right, same kind of steps you have to do, and if I just type here form, it is going to be the same. Huh? I will have a look. I will just see all the forms that they have on the website, and can start just be inspired by it. This one looks kind of a regular one. It's about payment, even if it's in Russian. I can see the design. It's not about the content here. And yeah, they have this sidebar here that just describes properly the steps where the user is. And then here the colors and the spacing seems quite good. Each section is well separated. Indeed, that's a first step. I kind of see how I can start building my page, how innovative I can be when it comes to the colors and the illustration I use when it is what I have to do. We have been looking here on call to idea for a login form, but we did not go and look for a 404 page. I want to see if they have some here, because the 404 pages are, and trust me, it is always very interesting. So what is a 404 page? It's whenever your users come on your app and then something does not work properly. Let's keep it easy. When something does not work, you do not want your users to be experiencing something that makes it look like it's completely broken, which if you do not pay attention to is going to happen. But you want your users to land on a page that just indicates that something is wrong, but you're working on it, all right? And that's what this kind of page does, okay? It still is like conveying a cool message. It's kind of relaxed, all right? And it just says a huge whoops, okay? Something is wrong. Our developers buys you a juice of choice, get a free juice. You see? So you kind of, with design, you can actually turn something that is working bad into a situation that can actually make people laugh, all right? Just because you have thought of it. And you're kind of free to do it as much as you want. So that's the cool side of it. And now I know that I can be as imaginative I want, also because they made it sound like so cool to actually land on this page. So that's what inspiration is for. And of course, when you will want to start looking for nice ideas and designing your UI, you need to follow this rule of thumbs, all right? And you'll find them at this link here. So if I go on goodui.org, okay, they will actually start telling you what you need to do to make it work as fast as possible. Okay, you might have heard of A/B testing. A/B testing is you build two versions of a same page, and then you randomly expose users to each of these versions. And whenever you have a sufficient amount of users visiting your web page, you can start inferring what works well and what does not work well, to quickly go to a single version of that page, but with the highest chances that each of the components placed at a very specific place on your page increases the action you would like the user to take, okay? And they do actually have recommendations. Do not hesitate to go there. And you can also have a look at the templates they have, all right, for each kind of page you would like to build. Here, it's a landing page, all right? And they actually tell you, inspire you to use something that has been tested and that is, let's say, scientifically proven to work, okay, in terms of UI for a website. All right, so that's where you'll find. The first step we did is that we went on a couple of websites to have an idea of what is possible. What should I do to look at the trends and to look at maybe inspirations into colors, icons I would be using, what kind of message I need to convey, and that users usually use, tell people how things are done on their own apps. Once you've done that step, you read the basics, all right? So you get informed in terms of the rules you need to use to increase the conversion on your page. All right, when I say conversion, is that most of the time you have a landing page and then a button that is a call to action, and you need to so every time the user comes on your page and then clicks on that button and goes somewhere else, it is a conversion. All right, and the purpose of your website is to incentivize them to do that action, so increase your conversion rate. And so once you have done that, what you want to do also is maybe have a look at the best websites there is. Okay, so if we look for awards with 3 W's, let's have a look together. Awards, yes. Okay, cool. See the kind of website they have, so it's kind of actually super nice. And then here they are showcasing a website that mentions a virtual economy. And of course, if you want to talk about virtual economy, there is nothing best than building something that really looks like it's virtual, but it's like a complete world within a single page. So it's really nice. They decided actually not to do it the colorish and small texts, but they went the whole way to old school design. All right, but the message is clear. It's quite big, and it's surprisingly old school but beautiful, which is nice. Yes, cool, validated. I might not use it because that will go. I work in B2B, so it's not going to convince a company to use the tool, but it's really nice, really nice. You can actually discover the best agencies and professionals in Belgium, which we kind of tend to avoid at the beginning. But it's nice. Okay, cool. Do not hesitate to visit, at least to find out what is really the top-notch design for this year. And actually a lot of other kind of information on the website. Okay, find the winners, the nominee, different kind of collections they have. Right, perfect. So that is for the website. Inspiration. Okay, so do not hesitate. Visit as much and go through as much as you can the websites I showed you just right now, and do not stay in a box. Let's put plenty of stuff in your head, and then at some point you're like, okay, all right, I kind of like all that. Put all these ideas on the paper and then look for the resources to start building it. Okay. So what is a resource? What is a graphical asset? It's mainly, I told you earlier, the colors you'll be using. Okay, what images are you going to display? The icons, the font, really important, the cut snippets and the gradients. Okay, we've seen on the websites earlier that a lot of them use gradients to give dimension to the web page. And that is also something really important. Okay, something really flat does not attract the attention unless you do it as well as the virtual economy. And it wasn't flat at all. They had actually something quite dimensional. So let's start with the colors. How are you going to choose the colors on your website? If I go back to call, no, that was not that. If I go back to UI, UI movement, yeah, and I come here and see there is the pink. I kind of like the pink they use here. Okay, how am I going to take it and manage to use it? How am I going to find out which pink it is? All right, the best way would be to use something called color picker. All right, you have Colorzilla, you have on Chrome, you have SIP for Mac people. So these are tools that you can actually use, extensions on your browser, for instance, the one I'm using here. And I just click on pick a color. And when I'm here on the color I'm selecting, you have this box here. Let me try. You have this here. Okay. So let's say that I click on this pink and on this one here. And it says, let me do it again because that was a process that didn't work well. Okay. You see here, you have all the information you need about the color. You have or the hex code, and you even have the place where that color is. Okay, you just need to click on it, and then it's copied in your clipboard, and you can take it wherever you want. So that's my way. That's actually designers' way to take colors that they find inspiring. Okay, but you also have other tools. Okay, for when it comes to the colors, there's a platform I kind of often use too, and that is called Coolers.co. And because it's really hard to find the colors, a palette of colors that fit with each other. Okay, maybe I have one color here and another color there, and when I put them together, it does not work well. Okay, so when you go on Coolers, okay, you can just click on start the generator, and you'll see it's super friendly and easy to use. Basically, you just come here, and you have a palette here that they have given to us, but none of the colors here looks like the pink I have selected earlier. So I can just paste the hex code I have taken from the website earlier, okay, here. And then I toggle the lock so that this color doesn't change, it stays there. And the only thing I need to do is now click on the tab, and it's automatically providing me with colors that fit with this one. The ones here might be too dark, but here it's almost okay. I kind of like most of them, especially the red and the blue, but these two are a bit dark. Oh, the mauve here is nice, and this one is okay. Actually, that can be for the text. So you see here in a couple of seconds, I have a set of colors that match, that actually go pretty well with the pink I found in my inspiration earlier. Coolers, super easy and super friendly. You have other tools, of course, and you have the trends that can be defined here. If you go on this link, Nathan Speller describes and has developed actually a tool that helps you visually know how the colors given the location on this circle or within the circle can match with each other. Do not hesitate to visit it. Fine. First step done. We have our colors. Now, I need images, okay? On my website, I want people to be happy. Okay, where am I going to find images of happy people? You have three main options: Flickr, Pexels, and Unsplash, okay? I mostly use Unsplash because they have library of images, so I can just go on Unsplash, and here, if I type happy, then boom, I have a series of pictures of happy people. Okay, I need something with a bit of pink, so this might be good actually, because the pink here, I do not have an orange that go with it. But this is fine. Yes, I kind of like it. This is really colorful, so I might definitely use it. If I like this one, okay, all I have to do is click on it, and then you can download it for free. All right. The only thing, of course, is that you will have somehow you are invited to thank the author of this image for sharing its work on Unsplash. Okay, so here I can just copy this to the clipboard, it on the website. I can advertise the work of Lydia because it's a very cool picture. Okay. So that's for the images. You can really find plenty, and you'd be surprised to see how many websites and professional websites are actually using this library to display pictures on it. Okay, if you do coding, and then you have plenty. And yeah, here you can actually, once you're a freelancer, take this image and quickly have your users that's for the images. Cool. Now, if you go on a website, you'll also see that it's not all right. You have the colors, then you have the images, and at some point you have these things here. This, let me try to zoom in here. You see these things here in front of the text here, this that say something, but it must not be an image, okay? Because it's not going to be changing its color whenever I hover on it. And that is called an icon, okay? To find icons, you have a couple of options too, but historically, the first website I knew of, and that was doing these things, is the Noun Project. Okay, they actually give you icons that you can use for everything and on plenty of different platforms. It doesn't have to be a website. And if you look for happy, let's see what they have for happy. Cool. They actually have a couple of icons, and then it's fairly easy. What I can do, and again, it's free, all right? I can select this icon here, and I have to have an account created. And so I can click on this one here, and then I'll see this. Yes, okay. So I can get this icon, and they give me a basic download. All right. I can click on it, and here, what it does is that it tells me that I have two options. All right. I take either the PNG format or the SVG format. And the difference between the two is that the PNG format is the same as a picture. Okay. And the SVG is actually a vectorized picture. What do we mean by vectorized? Is that the person that designed this has had to draw lines, okay? And you see there are actually a lot of different lines to be able to draw this happy girl, all right? And these lines are, for the computer to know what it is, it just receives a coordinate, all right? Put the up and shaping something. That's what SVG is. So you have all the coordinates so that you can actually start changing the smile, deleting something, removing, which we do not want to do, of course, because this happy miss looks super beautiful. So we can actually download it and try to see if we can use it in our own project. Perfect. So that's for the noun project. Okay. If we go and look for what is the challenge here? Sport. Okay. Could we actually see? Let's look for something a bit more specific. If we look for surf, cool. So we have nice icons we can start using, and for free. Okay. That's for the challenge number 3. Now we have the colors. We know here. We have a couple of icons. We have an image we can use, and we need now a font. What is a font? A font is the look text, basically. It's how your text is going to look like on your website. To be able to define a different and to find different fonts, you have a couple of options again. And the main option we have here, and the one I regularly use, to be honest, is Google Font. Okay. So if you go on Google Font, that right here, good. You see plenty of Le Wagon. No, of course no. Here you can search for the form, but what I want is actually to see what Le Wagon would look like with different fonts. Okay, so here we have the Roboto, which is kind of cool. And you can then just scroll over all the different ones they have. And whenever you like one, you can just select it. Okay. let's look for one that is completely different from the Wagon here. Okay, let's say that we have an old school event coming up soon, and exclusively for that event, we have decided to change the Wagon font. You just click on it, okay? And then it tells you everything you need to know about this font, okay? You see that with Lobster, you often have Roboto that is used. You have Oswald, Montserrat, Lato, and Railway, okay? If I like any of them, I just have to actually click on it. And then it is added here to the selected families. I can then use later on when I will build my website, okay? But I can just keep them here so that I remember what is the police I like to use, yeah? So you very rarely, as you can see, have one police for the whole website. You have a couple of them, and you need to document them very well, okay, early on in the process, so that you know that you have access to this font and that you have them all. Okay, perfecto. Let's go and look for, but we've seen Hallway, Montserrat also. So Montserrat looks actually good. Yeah, and let's have a look at Hallway. Hallway, yeah. I think that Hallway is most probably between all of them the one that is easier for the user's eyes whenever you need to read something and that you have a lot of text. Yeah, it's kind of helping and it looks good. So we'll go for Hallway. All right. Perfetto. No, this way is best. Okay, good. Now that we know which font we'll be using, what about giving some perspective to the website? We'll do it using UI gradients, okay? If I come here and I do UI gradients, here, perfect. So what is this about? Well, you see that we go from one side to the other side with two different colors. So it has a gradient, all right? It has a gradient like this, or both ways are fine actually. What I want to know now is what it is going to look like. I have selected, yeah? So, yeah, there you see that you can actually scroll. Oh, this one is nice. This one is really nice. I really like it. So they are using these three colors, and to be able to do that, yeah, that might be a bit too much. To be able to do that, they just use a linear one. Here you can start rotating it, and this one is probably the best. All right, and then you can just click on get the CSS. All right, and whenever you do get the CSS, it gives you the code that generates this color, this linear gradient. Okay, you just need to click, copy, and put it on in your CSS file. Super easy. And if you want to add this to your palette, super easy. You just copy and then bring it. Good. That's for the gradients. Now, maybe I want to do something a bit more fancy, and I do not want to have to think of all the code to be able to build it. So I am also going to go on a website and look for inspiration in terms of code. All right. Let's say that I want a button that, you see, we have this wonderful button that is almost pulsating at the same rhythm as your heart, inviting you to be relaxed. I kind of like this effect. So it's really cool. To be able to reproduce this button, well, I go on CodePen. I found it on CodePen, and you see here, Pen showcases the A of this button, and then you have the CSS. Okay, and you often have also a bit of JS, but in this case, there's no JavaScript. So the person here has managed to create a button without a single line of JavaScript. Okay, and SCSS is actually super powerful, so you can do it. You can just scroll through it and say, all right, fine, I like it. Let's take it and see how it looks like on my website. All right, and if you don't, then again, you can start looking for forms here. I check for this one. It is actually a nice form because you see here, whenever the user is going to click on next, it has a super nice effect. And then there is this, how is it called? This progress bar that is really, really nice. Because people are often lost in really long questionnaires whenever they have to give you a lot of information. Okay, so progress bar is super nice, and then the form is kind of cool. Okay, let's have a look at the code. And here you have all the HTML, the CSS, and then here the JavaScript to make all this animation happen quite smoothly. It doesn't look like feasible to understand it, but let's keep it simple. Without JavaScript is good for now. But at least you know that you can go on CodePen and quickly have an idea, also inspiration, not only visual, but how to implement it code-wise. Look at the progress bar. Let's see if you find anything that help us. Loading, yeah. Well, it understands. Perfect. And you see, that's what we mention when we talk about loading. Because in the back, right, your computer is doing some work, and because the attention span of your user is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, you need to make things happen visually while they wait. Otherwise, they leave. Okay, and the cooler the animation, the more your user, the more hypnotized your users are, the longer they'll stay and wait for the result. Okay, that is what the loading animation here is for. and it is quite fancy. So it's actually nice. And again, it has no JavaScript. It's all made with quite simple, actually, CSS. So it doesn't have to be too much. And this can easily be taken to your own project, and you could have a look at what it does. All right. So the rules of thumb. Okay, we'll go through this. One day to fix your identity. Don't beat around the bush. All right, do it properly, but go straight to the point and make it look like you. All right. We said it earlier, the identity is conveyed through different information. It is going to the colors, definitely. So make sure that you have at least 4 different colors that describe your identity, okay? Second thing, the font, all right? So what is the font family? The color of my text, and it's not only about the color, the font, but also the size of the text, the space between the text and the outside environment, let's say, the spacing between each letters, and the spacing between the words, okay? And something really important, you can see here, le wagon is not written le wagon like this, is not written le wagon like this, all right? It's a single word. So all this information seems quite not important at the beginning, but it is really, really important actually to take the time to do it properly, because it conveys, again, your identity. People will not consciously perceive it, but they would recall it whenever they see it anywhere, because it is your identity. We said it earlier, the ratios when it comes to the font. So the spacing between the letters, the size of the letters, of the font, and then the line height, okay? Don't buy all font if you don't find it for free on Google Font or some other platforms. Don't buy the whole suite, okay? Just buy the desktop version, so the .ttf, okay? And then you can convert it for the web. Contrast your text. Yes, super important. The size, but also the contrast of the text allows to give some dimension, and the eyes of the user will quickly go to what matters and then inspect what's with less contrast and smaller later on if they want to know more, okay? So that's a really good way to attract the user's eyes. Don't play too much colors. So don't select some black and then go for the gray, right? Don't play with the colors directly, but what you can do is really play with rather the opacity, okay? And when it comes to the tones, really keep it like on the gray scales, okay? Everything should be gray on this gray scale, and some little colors then will bring your website to life. Yeah, you play with opacity, everything should be on the gray scale, and then the colors bring the touch that your site. For instance, here you have Medium, all right, and they have, you see here this green, and to really bring perspective to the logo, they played with a set of different tone of the same green. Okay, so they on a grayscale, they changed the green to give dimension to this logo, more than with the shapes only. Design is also about space. All right, so the space that surrounds an object is as important as what you put in that object. Okay, and that will also let the user know where they should focus. All right. Add starter stocks. Really personal. It's really unique as you are. So you give it a touch that looks like you. Okay, and these rules of thumbs are going to help you do that properly. All right. Do not hesitate to add filters when you add a picture here. This you cannot read, all right? But to make it readable, it's no more complicated than adding a filter on top of the image, okay? And now everyone can read this, okay? And it's even better if on top of the filter, you add a bit of shadow here to the text, okay? Now we see the text only, and what's behind is just providing the subconscious with information, but we do not really focus on it. All right. A good design is a design that you do not notice. Okay, it has to be as fluid as possible. People do not have to focus too much on it. Do not have to see it too much. For instance, if you have a box, do not give it a border radius that is this big. It smooth corners, but not like big rounds. All right. The border here of this box is just way too big. You want something a lot lighter. That just makes this box go out a bit of the gray behind it. This shadow is way too big. Like it looks like it's flying, but flying in the 80s. All right. You want something that is like this. We see the box. We feel it is flying, but not too much. All right. We don't consciously notice it. It's all unconscious. One really good thing you will have to dedicate your time to when you do design is about proportions. Okay. The size of what you have does not really matter as long as it is consistent in terms of proportion on your website. Okay, here all these boxes, all these squares have the same size, but the icons in it, okay, all these icons do not have the same proportions. Yeah, this is proportionate. All these icons have exactly the same proportion, and it looks consistent. It doesn't look like something is broken, or it doesn't look like I have to focus on the apple, which is most probably the case if I have to select something in here. But you get the point. All right. We most probably have a couple of minutes left to do a Figma demo, and this is something I really want to do with you. Okay, we will let me showcase quickly what this is about. But first, I would like to make sure that it is all good. So everyone sees me properly. Everything's fine. Thank you, Renaldo. Okay. Yes, everyone's okay. All right, great. Anna, I do not know what's the issue, but yeah, cool. I am multiplied. Yes, I know it's kind of an inception here, but it's because I had to come back here to see the chat. So Figma is a tool that is going to help you use all the information you have collected from the inspiration phase and the resources location phase to put to use, okay? And you remember at the beginning, we said, oh, we need a color scheme, okay? So somewhere in your library of assets, you will have to tell what is this color scheme about, okay? And you can that is most probably going to be the first step of your design journey of your website. So you'll be using here Figma, and as you can see, Figma here is a great tool that will allow you to do that, to sketch it actually. And as you can see here, you have different pages you can start building. And here I have 2 pages built already. I have colors and theme, and then newsletter. For now, we'll keep it to colors and theme. And of course, do not hesitate. You'll see as you understand this, you'll quickly get how the rest works. Let me remove this here and do it from scratch. So in colors and themes, I have this beautiful board. And now I can start selecting the frame I am going to work on. The frame is the size of the screen I would like to use to design what I am designing. And here I say you have for phones, you have tablets, desktops, and let's say that we work on a desktop, okay? It is a MacBook Pro, so that it's predefined sizes for frames, okay? So here I am working basically on a screen of a MacBook Pro. Perfect. So now that I have this, I am going to say, all right, I am going to add a couple of rectangles here. And when I add this rectangle here, I see on the right side plenty of things I could do with it. Here in terms of design, of prototyping, and then I even have a code section. And the code here is generating the CSS you will have to write in your own application, in your own website, so that you don't have to do the job twice, okay? Here, this rectangle here has a position absolute, a width of 102 pixels, 101, height 91. It's 143 pixels away from the left, and 121 pixels from the top. Information that you can actually summarize here. So let's go back, and I would like this this rectangle to be a perfect square. So I have it here. And now I can just copy paste these squares and say that I want the colors I have selected earlier here, okay? So I am going to, I can change the color of this just by changing the fill, okay? And then what I will have to do is just add this color to my theme, okay? So you click on plus here and you give it a name. The name given here is lavender blush. Call it lavender. Lavender, is it with an E? Yeah. And lavender blush. Okay. So now I have my lavender blush. The second color here is the orange soda. So I can come here copy paste it and say that I want to add this one and call it orange soda. Perfect. The third color is this beautiful Rebecca purple. I love the naming of colors. It's and took we do Rebecca purple. Okay, I won't do it for all the colors, but you have an idea here. And then of course, because remember, this is a couple of colors I'll put on my website, but it is mostly going to be gray. On a gray scale. Okay, so the first one is probably going to be a super light gray. So I can come here and then just go towards one that is like this. Okay, cool. And remember what I told you earlier is that we do not want to change all the grays, or we do not want to change the values of the grays. All right. So this one is going to be my basis. Okay. I'll add it here and I'll call it gray base. All right. And then for this one, what I will do is that I will give it a color. I will give it a color that is exactly the same as the one we have before. And then instead of increasing this, it's my mistake here. We'll take this one as a base. And we won't do this. We will put it super dark. Okay. Okay. And that is going to be our gray base. Yes, because of course, what you do is that you go from a super dark gray, all right, and then you change the opacity of that gray. Okay, and the way you do this is that you select it, and then here, instead of having it at 100%, you say I want to have it at 60%. Okay. And that 60% then represents one color. You just add it here and then you call it gray smooth. Okay. And this one is also going to be the gray, my gray base, but not at 60%, but rather 20%. Okay. And this is going to be my gray light. Okay, cool. So we have our three main colors, and then the three main gray colors we'll be using on our website. It's really nice. I have my colors. What about the text here? To the text, well, we need to add it. Okay, so here we added some text. If I can find it. Oh, it's not here. Tag. And let's say that we have the header. Okay. And it's the big header. All right. Remember the police we've seen earlier and you wanted to take? It was let me try to see if we have it here. Took Roboto, no? Yes. So it is Roboto, and the headers are super big. Yeah? We'll put it like with 46 pixels. And it is here that you decide, all right, the paragraph spacing, the height of your text, the width of the text, how is it going to be placed? And then if you click on this, you have, do you want to be in lowercase? You can actually change a couple of the settings here. Then you can go through all this, perfect. And once that is done, all right, you say, I want my letters to be spaced with 5%. Yeah, this big header is going to give like the impression it is really, really big. And for all the rest, I am going to leave it like this. Okay, cool. Now that is done, I can edit here and call it header. All right, now I have a header. Let me change this like this. Perfect. Let's add something extra with her, and it's not going to be the header here, it's the sub header. All right. It is going to have almost the same properties as the header, but not exactly, because the size is going to be smaller, and it is most probably going to be 48 is the same, no? The header is 48, 46, yeah. So of course this cannot be 48. Let's put it 36. All right, good. Now that I have done this, I can add another one and call it sub header. Perfect. So see, that's of course that just a little part of the job. You have a lot. You have to reference a lot more than all this. But now that you have done that, all right, you can start framing your website, for instance. And let's say that instead of building a complete frame here, we want to have on an iPhone, in this box, we want to be able to add an image. Okay.
Tarek, I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Just to tell you that it's already 8:30. So
yes.
just that.
I went a bit.
I don't know if people
yeah, no.
other have to go to work or something like this. So just to
All
tell
right.
you that, I'll let you finish. Well.
Thank you very much. No, but I think I've covered most of the things I wanted to do. So yes, do not hesitate. We've seen the most important part when it comes to Figma. Okay. So you just have to, it is going to be the place where you reference all the information you have collected through the inspiration and the resources phase. And you'll then be very easily, if you follow the step I showed you earlier, be using all these references to build the frames on Figma. Explore it at the beginning. Yes, at the beginning it can be quite an exercise to do it, but keep on practicing, and of course do not hesitate to follow the workshop guide to see how to do it properly. I hope you had an interesting time, that you discovered quite a couple of good tips following the workshop. Do not hesitate, of course, if you have other questions, to ask them here, or to ask them via mail to the team. And And I leave the floor to Camille. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, actually, Tarek. It was really nice. Maybe just maybe all the teacher and TAs can come back so we can say goodbye quickly. I don't want this stage for me on my own. It was just to say thank you. So thank you, Tarek, first. Thank you to Raoul, to Sarah, to Adela for their time and their answer to your questions. You may have some last questions, so don't hesitate. Then we will get in a few minutes. Just to let you know, I will send you right now. The link to our slides. So to have them, you need to fill the feedback form actually, and then you will receive the link to the slides. So I'm doing it right now. You should receive it on your screen. So don't close the window if you want to see it. So we should be able to see it in a few seconds. Yeah, now you should be able to see it now. Also, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, you will also receive the replay link by email, so it will be right after the webinar. Also, we hope you enjoyed it. It's really important for us to get your feedback, so don't hesitate to answer to our form, and we will of course take your comment into account for the next webinars. For some of you who doesn't know, we have many webinars like this. They are 100% free for you. So what you can do is you go on our meetup page or directly on our website in the webinar section, and you will see that we have other webinars already planned. So it can be either to learn SQL or how to create your first landing page or learn how to automate tasks with APIs. We have it for many different topics, and you can register for the next one. Thank you, everyone. And here it's evening, so I don't know if it's evening for you, but enjoy the rest of your day anyway. And thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.